Hey guys, welcome back to Filter Coffee Football. Here to talk about Champions League stuff. Yes, I'm wearing a Barcelona jersey. They just got kicked out of the Europa League by Frankfurt at home 3-0. Miserable result.
Just Xavi ball doesn't work against
It
Germany.
doesn't work all the time. I mean, at this point, maybe I would have liked to have a trophy in the cabinet, but again, Europa League don't quite care, honestly.
I mean, Barcelona are not even fit to do Europa League right now, so
I
you
mean,
can't say that you
I
can't
wouldn't say
care.
that based on this
Uh,
season form, but I get it. Like they're ready for Spanish football. They're quite not quite ready for European football just yet. So, because even their progression to the quarterfinal stage was a little patchy at best. Anyway, that is not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Champions League quarterfinal second legs. Good lord, explosive matches. I mean, I thought the round of 16 had some surprises. This was just
this was better.
whirlwind. Let's start with the biggest one, right? Bayern Munich out of the competition. Villarreal somehow getting it done. Bayern Munich
Good
won,
evening.
Villarreal won. Wow. I mean, I'm still trying to digest this result. Everybody kept assuming that Villarreal were going to go out against Bayern Munich. And at this point, I mean, again, for all intents and purposes, I would assume Liverpool go through against Villarreal, but you never know. Did you catch any of this match? What was your take on
Oh,
the performance?
I think Bayern just forgot how to defend, and they never realized that they're going to come up with an opposition so strong, so resilient that Bayern weren't cohesive. I felt Bayern lacked cohesion or their natural flow. And I mean, how much can you rely just on Lewandowski? He did score, but again, you have to make the game work for you. I mean, you have to work for it.
Yeah, in many
Bayern
ways,
felt like,
sorry, I was just going to say, in
yeah,
many ways, the goal that Lewandowski scored it's a goal that only a striker of his quality can kind of score, right? Like most other strikers, you wouldn't rely on them scoring in that kind of a situation. Um, and there was the one major slip up, and they missed a few chances. Like Bayern definitely had the chances in this match. They just did not have their shooting boots on today. I mean, and Villarreal, I mean, kudos to Villarreal. They didn't just defend deep. I mean, but Villarreal actually did try to play out from the back, which was interesting against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. And the goal that they got came from some progressive play, throwing some players on right at the dead. Unai Emery taking some risks, taking some chances, and finding a goal. I mean, they only had like three good opportunities, maybe two good opportunities in the game, and they took one of them. And Bayern did not take any of theirs. I mean, for a team that is so heavily dependent on their attack, to not take their chances is very, very un-Bayern Munich like. Of course, fun fact about this game: Villarreal changed their entire starting 11, including their goalkeeper, for their La Liga fixture before this
obviously,
match. Bayern are probably the only other team left in this competition. I mean, I guess you can argue Madrid are a team like that as well, although maybe they wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, Bayern are the only team in this competition that can conceivably afford to, just change their entire lineup for a league fixture because they'll
Man
probably
City,
still be. No, come on, Man City. I mean, they have a good squad, but
they
it's not
have
like
they have a team B that is fit to win the
I
Premier League on a good
I
day.
I guess, but they're not in the position where they have the option to not pick the best 11.
Right.
Is what I was trying to get at. So Villarreal, I mean, I think that's an advantage that Villarreal will have going up against Liverpool as well. But we'll discuss the other fixtures later. If you had to sum this sort of Bayern and Juventus collapse in like a statement or a couple of statements, how would you kind of encompass that?
Juventus were a gone case. Juventus never had anything going for them. I mean, I was surprised to see Juventus even qualify that far, to be very honest, because they are a team in disarray with players who should retire, and they've also wasted some talent that we've also gotten through with.
Mm-hmm.
So Juventus was just another team, but Bayern, I think they just let it sail. They thought they could easily overturn Villarreal, and maybe not sizing up your competition is a problem, especially in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, typically you wouldn't. I think you would associate Bayern as one of the few teams that does let ego kind of go to their kind of mentality when they're approaching these games. They kind of come in with that. So it's almost like, you know, the Xavi Iniesta Barcelona. You know, it didn't matter that they were 1-0 down. There's always this confidence about the game. They just lack the quality in this game, and that's really, I feel, what hurt Bayern going forward. They weren't really very inventive. Not that they needed to be super inventive in front of the goal, but you know, they had to finish their chances. Muller missed two really good chances, which is very unlike him. He probably should have been subbed off way before he was in the match. Because this is, you know, Bayern Munich, like PSG, are judged based on their performance in Europe. Because the domestic competition, despite what people might say, it's a tough run. Bayern always win it. Let's move on to let's gloss over the Liverpool versus Benfica result. 3-3. I didn't watch the result. I don't think you caught a whole lot of it either. What is your key takeaway on this one?
Liverpool just turned off after going 3-1 up, I guess. And eventually they conceded 2 late goals, but the game was already sealed.
Yeah, I think part of it was just like fatigue from that incredible match against Man City over the past weekend. You know, I think they kind of just... They wanted to just see this result out. They didn't really care too much for, you know, what it brought on. But again, 3 goals conceded at Anfield. They probably cannot afford to be that lax against Villarreal, who are going to be a much tougher proposition for them. In many ways, Liverpool have not had a tough competition in the Champions League so far. You could maybe argue Inter Milan, but Liverpool were pretty much in control in both the ties there as well. So Villarreal might just prove to be a decent challenge, and if Liverpool actually do manage to roll them over, this might have probably been the easiest run to the finals that they could have hoped for in the competition, which is again quite interesting how that's worked out for them. But yeah, Liverpool versus Villarreal. What are your predictions on that one?
Liverpool will go through.
I'm actually going to go for a spicy one. Very, very tight. I think Villarreal will actually edge this one and make it to the finals. The only advantage I like, again, pure speculation, because we've given Villarreal no credit thus far, so I'm finally going to throw in and give them a little bit more credit. I think the fact that he can change his entire starting 11 for the La Liga between the Champions League fixtures is a big asset for them, and Liverpool are not in that sort of luxury. And like you mentioned, unlike Man City, Liverpool don't even have the kind of squad depth that they can rotate their team and still rely on the players that start to get them the result.
They still do have a decent enough squad.
They do, but it's nowhere near the kind of depth that, you know, Manchester City can boast of. So yeah, I think Villarreal do kind of walk into this with a slight advantage, even psychologically, right? Because at this point, Liverpool are looking down at giant killers, so it's a certain element of intimidation going into this match as well for them. So yeah, I'm going to root for Villarreal on this one. But yeah, let's move on to Atletico Madrid 0, Manchester City 0. Manchester City, this is my one sentence summary of this match. Manchester City beating Atletico at their own game. I never thought I would see this side of Manchester City. Wow,
It has always been there. It has always been there with Pep
side. But to this extent, wow.
Even with Pep, even when he was at Barcelona, you could see that they would do all those tactical fouls, all those professional fouls, and just get away with it. They didn't catch the attention of the camera like this game did. That's the only difference. I mean, Pep has always had this dirty side to his team, for all that he claims that good football or he wants to play progressive football. But that's okay. That's how you make champions, right?
Yeah, in many ways, I actually respect this approach. This is very going against the grain sort of thing for him, right?
You do it one-off. Doing it one-off is fine. Atletico do it every other game, and you've got to realize somebody's going to be better at it than you are. As simple as that.
And I think this is the stat. I think across the 2 legs, Atletico managed only 1 shot on target. So
that is if they thought of hitting the ball.
Yeah, so for all of that apparent sort of pressure that Man City were seemingly under for periods of this match, they were never really under any pressure. I mean, Manchester City almost toyed with them the way that Savage was trying to toy with Jack Grealish's hair. I mean, come on, man, leave the guy alone. He just landed. I guess he's just jealous of the Gucci sponsorship that Grealish landed. Um, but I mean, tough blow for Atleti. This was supposed to be kind of their season in La Liga, because Madrid going through a rebuild, Barcelona obviously in shambles. This was supposed to be their league to go out and win. They're not in the Copa del Rey either, and just unceremoniously seen out of the Champions League as well at this stage. They have a mix of old and young players. João Felix has had moments but not really worked out. The Griezmann move really hasn't worked out for them either. Suarez looks like he only had that one great season in him, which he used up last season. So yeah, Atleti also not in that great of a spot, I'd say, looking into the future versus the Manchester City team that's building and building. It seems like they're just about getting started. They still have another 2 or 3 years worth of these performances in them,
Easy.
which is really impressive for this City team. A really hard fought win, some really violent almost scenes. Although nobody ever looked like in danger of getting hurt. It was always a lot of shouting from distance, a lot of gesturing, but no real actual physical. I guess people who are shouting out for a real rivalry for the Manchester City Liverpool game probably got some entertainment out of this match.
Well, this is not the 90s, so
For me, this was just mostly a snooze fest. But yeah, moving on to the result that I know you want to talk about, so I'm going to let you take center stage on this one. Extra time, Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 3. Real Madrid go through 5-4 on aggregate. I'm just going to say one thing and then I'm going to let you do it. That Modric pass, was
Yes.
that the assist of the season or what?
that is the mark of a player. The moment when you realize there's an outside of the boat pass coming in, you know for sure that it's going to be a worldie. And Benzema made it look easy. It's not easy. Sorry, did Benzema score or
No, Rodrigo
Vinicius score?
scored that one.
Oh, Rodrigo scored it. Yeah. Rodrigo made it seem easy, but it's not easy to finish a volley, especially that from one that's coming at a weird angle. It's not straight into your feet. He had to run to connect it. It wasn't a control and finish attempt. It was first touch, boom, and oh, that just changed the game. It's moments like these, right, where you can pin Modric down to a corner, but then give him the ball and give him 2 extra seconds, and then he turns this up. That's where the game changes. And then Benzema, of course, you don't let him have the chance. Don't let Benzema get anywhere near the ball.
And another good assist by Vinicius as well. I mean, took his time, really saw where Benzema was. That was as good a delivery as Benzema could have hoped for in that situation.
Benzema toyed with Rudiger. Did you see that? I mean, the way a elite striker moves is he goes in, he comes out. He goes in, he comes out. Nobody really knows where he's going to bait. And then Rudiger has to be ball watching and player watching. So you can only do one thing the right way, right? And sometimes you've just got to submit that you're facing a better player.
I mean, this was again like against PSG, it was just 30 minutes in a 180-minute fixture that Madrid needed. And here it was not even that. This was like, again, maybe with extra time, about 30-ish minutes. But Madrid really, they just waited for their moment, I guess. And this is that elite mentality. And of course, on Benzema is the employee who works through his lunch hour and stays overtime without pay, and then that's who the boss points to you and says, oh, you should work like that guy. So setting a very bad example. He was basically practically beaten up at the end of that 120 minutes, ran his socks off. Oh my god,
still doesn't get the recognition. That is a problem. Still,
I mean, at this point, he's a shoo-in for the conversation at the very least for Ballon d'Or, right? Like, he definitely has to be right up in there. I mean, again, unfortunately, it will depend on what France do in the World Cup and where Madrid actually go up to the finals or maybe even win the finals. But I mean, at this point, he has to really be in with a big shout. So Let's talk Manchester City, Real Madrid. This one is close to your heart. What do you see happening on this one?
I, I definitely want Madrid to go through. Like, oh, City are okay, but again, Madrid have the moments in them. City are City. I think sometimes are a team that goes on rhythm, and they have to be on song for them to win. It's not City don't react positively to
Hmm.
adversity, as we've seen in some games. The draw against Crystal Palace, the loss against who was it?
Spurs again
Yeah,
and Crystal Palace
Spurs.
as
Yeah,
well.
who's going to
That
make
is
the
where.
better outside of the ball pass?
I mean,
KDB
again,
or
KDB versus
Modric?
Luka Modric. That is going to be an incredible, incredible battle. Now, that's the only thing that I worry about is them really being run off the pitch because in this Chelsea match, Chelsea not necessarily having their best squad available for them. I mean, Marcus Alonso, I think he was the weak link toward the end of the match, just really low on steam, and arguably just Chelsea just did not have a backup for him, so he had to play the entire 120. Even the midfield looked tired again. Loftus Cheek playing, and no offense to Loftus Cheek, but he's not the best midfielder that Chelsea have. So he had an okay game, but Chelsea would have liked to have Jorginho and Kante on. So Kante for some reason just wasn't in the game
Kante
today.
faded out this
Yeah,
game.
exactly. And Werner, of all, like when everybody else in Chelsea is not doing great, Werner comes out with an absolutely incredible performance, which is just make of it what you want. But that's I think where Madrid will find a little harder against City because this team is built to
Stacked.
run. Yeah, it's built to run. It's built on energy. Pretty much every player in the team is knows the drill, and they can just sub one player out and bring another player of equal quality in to fill out the role exactly the way Pep wants it as well, which might be a problem for Madrid. The only thing for them is again like PSG to not get blown out in the first leg. As long as they keep
Exactly.
themselves in the game through the first leg, they should be in with a shout for the second one. But yeah, that was our breakdown for the second leg of the quarterfinals. Talking about predictions for the finals, is for the semifinals, and maybe even the finals at this point. Uh, Thank you as always. Like, share, subscribe. This went on longer than we intended to. But yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye bye.